Sometimes decisions are made out of desperation.
Again.
Sometimes those decisions can destroy your life. And sometimes they can unleash something so dark and so evil that everyone you know and love becomes a target.
I see.
Yes.
Party time!
Hi, I'm Andrés. I will be the translator. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Krsy.
Hi.
I hope you saw my non-t-shirt, but no, I will be the translator. Yes, yes. And I won't translate your answers to Spanish for the time because we want to let you talk, but I will promise to translate it later. And of course, we are all blessed, happy, and I am glad that you love the horror movies from Mexico. I also
The Mexicans are the best.
Yeah.
They're the best. There's some incredible stories from there.
César, tienes que estar feliz. Okay.
Sí, no, estoy feliz a darle.
Okay, John, go ahead.
No, Krsy, Bonnie, bienvenidas a este gran espacio. La verdad es un honor. Andrés está que salta de la dicha. Y bueno, que empezar por estas dos grandes producciones, Fran, I Lie Alone, excelente. Y bueno, empezaremos con Fran, que es para mí es una de las que van a ser mi favorita y es, va para Bonnie esta para pregunta y es, ¿en qué aspectos se desarrolla como la personalidad de ese personaje? ¿Cuál es la característica más emblemática de Fran en el terror actual?
Okay, this question goes for both. We are going to talk about Frank, and knowing, of course, that both of you have created great and memorable characters, but in other movies, what do you think that are the emblematic characteristics that will give you this movie, not only the movie, but Ruby Chase and Mistress Eden, to the new horror cinema?
What does Ruby and Mr. Eden bring to the cinema? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think for Ruby, I think her story is a deeper story because the message, I really wanted to touch on what happens when someone kills themselves and what suicide does to people and what the ripple effect is. And I thought it was an interesting way to use a monster to show people that, you know, if you choose to do something like that, it's not just you that is affected and all the people that have to go through a lot of pain and also to see the struggle from someone who is having such dark times in their life. So I really wanted her character to be relatable, but also to have a greater message within the film. And Bonnie can say what she thinks about hers.
Yeah. Well, Ruby had to go to such extreme measures to survive that, you know, she was praying, she was in a horrible relationship and she was praying, you know, basically to God or anything out there that would save her. And unknowingly, she made a deal with a very bad entity, this monster. So this monster comes through and the monster infiltrates all of the people in Ruby's life to get to her because I didn't want to do any spoilers, but she kills herself and the monster's very, very upset. So by the time they get to Mistress Eden, I narrate the whole movie and then tie it together. So you don't see me to the last vignette, but what happens is the monster's already gotten to her. So this is a character, Mistress Eden, that she's already, her feet are not on the ground. So when you see the character Mistress Eden that I play, she is so far out there and so far gone. You think it's some sort of, you know, hippie from the 60s, but it's way a hippie on another planet, actually. it's very fascinating, and the monster, it's a new monster that's just beautiful that Krsy created. It's a stunning new monster. And the story has a lot to do with people's struggles and strains and beliefs, and how you can hurt yourself, and and by all of the the things that you do in your life, like Ruby's bad choices for a boyfriend, hurt everyone around her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like Mistress Eden is an important character because she sees and also feels what a lot of the people who experience Frank have gone through. So a lot of it's emoted through her, and she really she explains the stories that goes along, and she's very in tune. So she almost ultimately experiences the most pain throughout the film, but besides Ruby. So it was a cool role for Bonnie to do, because Bonnie was just so intense and so great in it. So I was very happy to have her in the film.
Thank you. You are fabulous in it.
Thank you.
What's so amazing about this film, in my opinion, is so incredible that I think that it is truly for people to see and realize that you can do anything that you want to do, because Krsy wrote it, she directed it, she edited it, she did all of the music, she did all of the posts, all of the deliverables for the distribution company. She did it all herself with nobody else. And it's like, you're going to do something instead of, most people sit around and talk about doing something. No, she picked her ass up and she did it. She made it happen. She just made it,
Bonnie.
Which is a very difficult thing to do and very tedious. But it's very inspiring for the world. I think it's a very inspiring thing for the world to know that here's a prime, perfect example. If you want to do something, you can do it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm. And I love horror movies. So who doesn't want to make a freaking horror movie? It's awesome.
Jhon will die with the answer, but I will lead him waiting for the translation. But Jhon, go ahead.
Yeah.
Le dije que vas a morir.
Yeah, no. So it was a long 2 girls. There's going to be a lot of talking, guys.
Don't worry. You can talk for hours. I will be blessed to translate everything. I'm blessed, in fact.
Gracias.
Ok. Bueno, yo quiero hablar de la película de Frank, que se viene próximamente. Quiero preguntar a cualquiera de las dos que conteste, o si las dos contestan está bien. ¿Qué podemos esperar de esta película? ¿De qué manera está contada? ¿Cómo es que esta película nos va a llevar de la mano para engancharnos, pero sobre todo para liberar nuestro miedo?
Okay, one from both of you, or wherever you want to ask, it's about Frank. What are the key elements that we can expect so this movie can hook us and never let us go about Frank?
Okay, well, first I probably, we kind of touched on the storyline. So first I'll kind of explain that, and then I'll tell you some things to expect in the film. So I play Ruby Chase, and basically she's in this very, very unhealthy relationship with a really violent, abusive druggy boyfriend. And he's terrible to her. So one night he comes home all messed up with his friends, and he starts attacking her, and she realizes they're going to kill her. So she prays to anything, because she's not a religious person. She doesn't really know what she's doing. And she's just like, if anything or anyone can hear me, help me get out of this. And what answers her is Frank. So basically she ends up having to vow a lifetime of servitude to this monster. In exchange for him to help her out of the situation. She can't deal with it because it's too dark and too awful to live with. So she ends up killing herself. And Frank gets very angry because she broke her deal. And he decides to go after anyone who's vulnerable in her life that she loved, all on a path to try to get to her little sister, who Ruby loved more than anyone in the world. So it goes down the line. The film starts out very high energy. You get to see a little bit of Ruby's story, but it goes in little segments where then you see her step aunt, who the entire story takes place in her bedroom, and Frank just through sleep paralysis and watching her in the dark when she sleeps. That's how he preys on her. So it's a very cool, still section of the film that's very fly on the wall. There's segments of it that I think I don't cut for 3.5 minutes in one take. And it's just very paced and really creepy because you just know like something's going to happen here. But then it gets into the middle section that is actually very funny, and it's based around Ruby's step-aunt, who is this really rich, young, spoiled woman who does not care about anyone but herself, but is played by Lindsay LaRose. And
she just married him, her father, because he's rich.
Yeah.
And then you just see she just.
Yeah. So it's a very comedic part of the film. When we just did the premiere, people were very responsive in the theater, which was very cool. And then it gets into the fourth story, which is around Mary Lane, who is Ruby's cousin, played by Azure Parsons. And her story is really crazy. She's this lonely woman who is desperate for like the fairy tale romance. She's like a hopeless romantic, but she hasn't been in a relationship since high school band. So she's a nerdy woman. And she's just struggling. She can't seem to find the one. And so she listens to her Uncle Tom, who is Ruby's father's new wife. And she calls this love coach guru who tells her to manifest her dream man. And she basically makes up an invisible boyfriend who ultimately comes after her and gets incredibly jealous and becomes terrifying. So that segment is really cool, really scary, but a very unique story. And it's really, the elements of what you can't see are almost what makes it really scary. And then the final segment goes insane. That's when Bonnie comes in and they hold a giant seance so Ruby's sister can contact Ruby. And of course, Frank uses that vulnerability to come after them all. So it gets very crazy in Bonnie's story, and it all ties together in one big finale that I don't want to give away, but I think Frank has humor. It's scary. There's a lot of character development. There's a lot of, it feels like classic horror, but also very modern in the way that the characters evolve. And it's just a super special movie. I couldn't be more proud for this to be my debut feature film, because it's something that I love and something that I would watch and I would respond to. And that's really all you can do when you make a film or write a film, is you can just write what you love and what you think is great. And that's what I did. And it's been really, really rewarding to see people respond in the past couple screenings we've done to the film the way they have. It means so much. So yeah, I could not be more excited for Monday when the film's finally out, October 25th.
Tengo otra pregunta. Igual es por la película Frank. En la película, bueno, se toca el tema de hacer pactos se hace un pacto con el monstruo, y quiero preguntar, ¿qué fue lo que más le maravilló de este tema, de hacer un pacto con una fuerza sobrenatural? ¿Por qué eligió eso?
Why, in Frank, why do you want to try the subject of making pact with monsters? Tell us, with the dead ones. What are the things that really attract you to talk about this subject of, yes, we are making a pact with the dead ones, or the monsters?
That's a good question. I think going into it, I had made a short right before, and I had a lot of fun. Guy who played the boyfriend in the film became this demon. And we didn't get to go as far, as we did with Frank. And I just really, really wanted my next film to be a monster movie. I just wanted to make this crazy monster movie. And I wanted to make this monster that maybe one day, you go into a Halloween store and people have masks of him and kids dress like him for Halloween.
They will.
And so thank you. So that was my goal. I wanted a crazy monster that preyed on people based on their fears and insecurities, and everyone has different ones. So I thought that was really cool, because that means just as long as you're vulnerable, he could get you. So I just thought that was a really cool concept, and I think that Ruby ultimately was the most vulnerable of all of them. So it kind of made sense that she just would have to make a pact, which is what brought this monster into all of their lives.
But didn't have to do with her faith, because she was there praying. She's praying for someone to help her.
She's not
She's like-
religious though. That's the problem.
But that's,
is
you look like you're praying in the thing.
she is.
But
That's
maybe I don't know
part.
what-
Bonnie didn't pay attention to the movie at all, apparently.
Apparently not.
So the whole point is Ruby prays because she doesn't know what else to do, but she's not religious, so she doesn't understand how to pray. And if you don't practice something and you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't do it. You need to learn before you. So she was desperate, but when you're desperate, maybe, it's just like take pause for a moment and think about it. And I thought that was a scary idea, that maybe if you didn't practice your faith or your religion and you prayed, maybe other things could answer you because you hadn't given yourself to God, right? So I thought that was kind of an interesting idea, that was Frank's way in to their world, which was kind of cool.
Lo quiero es felicitar a
Bravo,
las dos. Bravo.
Bravo.
Bravo,
You are amazing, bro.
Ay,
Bravo, Krsy! Yes!
Bravo,
Beautiful
Krsy,
film.
yes.
You're gonna
You
love
are
it.
on fire. 2 movies. And
It's pretty amazing.
the time is not running off, so I want to ask the following. John, voy a hacer una pregunta ya que el tiempo nos acaba. Because I had watched, I don't want to talk about gender, but I want to talk about, I watched recent horror movies made by women and men. I feel like you take more risks. They are more visceral, but more, I don't know, talking about not only you. I didn't watch this movie, but I will watch it. But Jennifer Kent, I watched many directors. They are amazing, and I don't want to talk about that Tino genre. But why do you think that women told horror histories in a very more visceral and human way? Tell us, because I don't know. I had watched a lot of. Tell us.
Well, this is what I think, and Bonnie might have her thought. I think that women are different types of storytellers. They're more in tune with feelings and emotions sometimes. And I just think that women have different perspectives. Yeah, films like The Babadook or films like Revenge that I loved, it's something different. I don't think a man would have made that film. And I'm a fan of a gazillion male directors and gazillion women directors, but I think women just have a different connection and a different perspective in life. The way you respond, the way you feel about things. Women have a different vulnerability, but they also have a different type of strength because they've had to live their whole life that way. They have to protect themselves. So I think that when you have a woman write something, it's always going to feel more unique. And it's just been a really special time for film because women are coming in and they're equal. And it's not about a man or a woman. It's just about being great. I don't know if I can swear, but great freaking filmmakers, and not about that you're a woman. Oh, you're good for a woman. Because I feel like it's the level and the bar is just, and there's a lot of women that I look up to. And I truly think that there's just something about the female perspective that has been missing for a long time. And it's here now. And it's not going away. And I think that men and women both are responding to it hugely, which is amazing, so it's just like the most exciting time to be a new filmmaker, in my opinion, as a woman and as a filmmaker. So what do you think, Bonnie?
Well, I think that women give more of heart to the films, especially in a horror film, because when it becomes truly wrenching, it's because it's touching your heart. And there's more of that passion in there given by the women storytellers. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of all the men storytellers. It's like James Wan in all The Conjuring. The reason why it's so successful is because of all of the heart in his films. Like when I did The Conjuring 2, there was an anatomical monster in there. And they all said, no, we don't want to put this out. And I just went on an audition this was like 2 months before the film was released. And they said, we've got to put in a real person in there because we need some heart in there. It's not the real thing. We need something real in there. And I just went on the audition and they chose a nun because they wanted to hire a person to play it.
Well, let's also not forget about the fact that Bonnie is one of the first a female horror characters that are legendary now. There's very few females. Well, there's Freddie, there's Jason, there's Michael, and then there's Bon Bon here. So I'm just saying, Bonnie is pretty special, and she's
Thank
also, paving the way for women in horror, which is amazing, and why I wanted to work with her.
Jhon, I need to say two things. Yes, you can curse, but only in Spanish. So you can say puta película. Okay, no. And two, yes, time is running out, but Bonnie, this is a hi from a friend. It's called Anna. She told me it's great that you interviewed but Bonnie and know more about his work, but because yes, we can talk about everything that you have made with James Wan, but we can talk again about the things that you did with David Lynch, the things that you did in the non-horror genre. You appeared on Silverline Playtools, on The Fighter, and the things that you did in the music videos. We as a channel, we feel blessed to have you both, but mostly yes, Bonnie, you and also for Krsy, it said you are a legend and you are a very special person for us. And
thank you so much. Oh,
Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna cry. That's the most beautiful thing anyone ever said. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are in my heart. I love you.
You can cry. Latinos will love tears in the soap operas.
That's so touching.
Okay, we got Jhon, el saludo. We got the camera is for you both. You can say a hi to Colombia, to Mexico, to the channel, and invite to the people to watch Fran, I Live Alone, do your social media. Go ahead.
Okay.
I love the
All right.
food. Food in Mexico. I love the food in Mexico.
Yeah, me too. But okay, well, we love you, Mexico. We love you, Colombia, and please go see Frank. Rent Frank on or buy. It comes out October 25th, so this Monday. And I Live Alone will be out December 21st. And please follow us on our socials if you want to find out anything more. I'm just Krsy Fox on everything, KrsyFox.com. And
I'm Bonnie Aaron's one.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
Yes, please. And if you can, please pre-order because it is very helpful for the film. And we really, truly love you. And this is such an honor to speak with you guys. And you guys are the sweetest. And I just love other horror movie fanatics. So this is fantastic. This was so much fun.
So much
and happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. My birthday is on November 12th.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. Yes. Okay. César, I really need that. Sorry.
I'm going to send you the nun as a gift. Is that okay?
Yes.
I love you guys.
Wait,
we're coming to Mexico. I love Mexico.
And Colombia.
We need a woman here. She's Nicole. She's a really great fan. Nicole, aprovecha.
De verdad apoyo el filme de Frank y I Live Alone y las admiro demasiado, mucho éxito en Frankie y me encantará las películas y espero que me puedan mandar un saludo.
We love you. Let us know what you think of the film.
Yes, please.
Let her know. She's making more films. Let her know what you want to see.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Let Krsy know what you want to see.
Krsy, what you wanna show us later? Because we know that we expect that this is not the only time you will be here talking about movies. So tell us, what do you expect?
We're coming back.
What's coming?
She's coming back.
Well, I've made a feature-length script of the short I mentioned in the beginning of the interview, called "What the Spell," that I'm planning to make early next year.
She won a lot of awards for that, by the way. A lot. It is mind-blowing.
Thank you. And I have a few other scripts, so there's going to be some really fun stuff coming, and I really hope people love the first two because, the more you support, the more it keeps us going, and being an independent filmmaker, it's very exciting to see people who are this excited and passionate. It makes me want to go make a movie right now. So thank you for making my whole night. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can't tell you. Thank you so much for having us.
If we made you your night, you made the whole year and life for us.
Oh,
thank you so much for being here. We love you so much.
Love you.
Thank you so much.
We love you guys.
Love you.
Gracias.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Kisses.
What are you?
Your deepest fear. here, and your only chance.
What do you want? Oh, it's love. I fell into my heart soars with us. I've never had someone like you. It's satellites in space, stars in your grace. Oh, it's love. Finally, it's love.
Is this gonna be like scary?
You can never predict the dead.